Oh, hello. Anyway, I thought I'd do a video, or as I call it, a video. Most people know that I used to do a little bit of amateur radio. I haven't done any for a while because of the noise problem I've got and also other things. So I sold my radio, my 450D, which I had for about 6 years. And I was chatting to a mate of mine on Peanut and on DMR. And he said, I've got a radio for sale. And I thought, okay, all right. Spill the beans. What have you got? And he said, I've got an 897D in very nice condition in the box. That's funny. I was after buying one of those at one time, but I could, when I became my full license, I couldn't get one. Apparently they stopped making them. And he said, well, they're worth a bit of money now because they're getting collectible. I don't know why they'd be collectible, but anyway, he said, you can have it with some accessories. There was a meter, a couple of covers for 600, and I thought, okay, well, I'll think about it, and I'll let you know tomorrow. But that's the rig. It arrived about a week ago. I'm sorry about the camera waving around. Somebody complained my videos are not very good because I move the camera around. Well, I'm sorry about that, but if they don't like my videos, I'm not forcing them to watch them. But anyway, what I decided to do is to show you that I can't have an outdoor antenna because I'm in a listed building. It's an almshouse, which is run by charity. It's a listed building, and I can't really have anything in the garden. I could probably have a vertical, but if I just go outside the window, you probably can't see. We got a telephone exchange there, and the other side we got buildings, and then there's a massive building that's made of metal there, and one that's a chunk of lead. So there's no point having it in the garden. It needs to be a bit higher than that, but the only place I could put it at the bottom of the garden where the shed is. The problem is the wall. The cement is very sandy, so you can't drill into it. It will just come out. I thought about bolting it to the shed door surround, but that's rotten, and when you move the shed door, it moves. So I thought I can't do it that way. So some time ago, I built an antenna in my loft. I'm just going to go to my airing cover because I want to show you something. I went up into my loft, which is 124 foot round. Well, the loft isn't, but that's the wire I put up there. I had to go around 3 times to do that. Probably not the best. I call it an end-fed cobweb because with a counterpoise. In the loft, I got some conduit. Sorry about the flashing, it does that with that light in the ceiling. And somebody made those holes, I didn't, I just utilised them. And down there comes the counterpoise. I think it's at least 9 foot, if not more. Goes to the bottom. Down there, I believe I had it draped over this bag before because I didn't want it touching the metal pipe. I could probably do with making it a bit longer, but I don't like joining wires, so I'll have to get some more. Otherwise I'll have 2 joins in the wire. And what we're going to do now is show you the meter on the radio. You probably won't bloody see it. Yeah, it's all washed out, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's all getting washed out, so you won't see it. But never mind. I'll see if I can get up to it. Yeah, it's all pale. It's all very pale. So, but anyway, when I key up on the radio, because I do Morse, not very good at it anyway. So unfortunately, I'm sorry you can't see the screen, but unfortunately, it's very pale and light, so it's you probably won't see it. But I got it on the SWR setting. I'm on the bands I mainly use is, believe it or not, 40. 80 is very noisy, so is 160 is. So I tend to use. So I got this aerial, virtually not reading anything on the SWR. It just shows a little bit of movement on the SWR on 7 megahertz. I doubt whether it's more than 1 to 1. I don't know what the scale is on this SWR. If I go up to 10, I use 10 quite frequently, the meter doesn't even make a reading. It's not even reading, it's reading 0. If I go on to 14, spend a lot of time on 14, it's not moving. Not any movement on the meter. Oh damn, I've gone the wrong thing. 18. It's about 2 marks. I don't know whether that means 1.2. I don't know. There's no markings on that meter to say what the marks on the meter mean. There was nothing in the manual. So it's 2 marks, I'll call that. 21, it's 5 marks. I don't use 21 that often, 15. 17, I think it's 24 megs. The high SWR is just lighting up. Now I know the high SWR on that doesn't light up until it's 2 to 1. So I would imagine that's about 2 to 1. I would imagine that this that's probably about a 2. That may be about a 1 to 5 or so, 1 to 7, and all the other ones, they say nothing, they don't read anything at all. So with a bit of a tuner, I would be able to tune those bands, but I'm not going to use anything above 17 because that's 12 meters. Really, a vertical's better. This one is a bit high, but it's not showing as high on here, so I probably get away with using this band. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can certainly use 5 bands on that antenna, and I only use about 25 watts. When I go down to 80, sorry, I keep pressing the wrong switch, I'm not used to this, 3.5, I reckon that's the mark at the end there is 3 to 1, so that's about 3 to 1 on that. So 3 to 1, I wouldn't bother to try to tune that. I think that's too high. If it's over a 2, I think it's 2 to 1. I think tuning it would just be a basket case of an aerial anyway, so it won't work efficiently. A loft antenna isn't efficient, that's just going to make it worse. So even that 24, it's about just over a 2 to 1. I reckon I could tune that on a tuner and it would work. That's 12 meters. I won't be using 12. Sorry, I just keep pressing the mode switch. 21, that's 17 meters. I put 15 meters. I reckon that's about 1 to 5, maybe a 2. I'm not sure. But that, well, no, it wouldn't be a 2 because 2's yeah, I reckon that's about a 1.7, something like that, 1.6 something. But the bands I mainly use, believe it or not, 18, so that's 17 meters. I use 20, 10, 30 meters, and 40. Those are the bands I tend to use. I don't tend to use the others, and I don't think I've ever used them. 40 is my favourite. DX band is the other one, and I can do 2 walk bands, 18 and 10. So I got 2 normal bands, 2 walk bands, that's all I really need. So I have got a bit of an issue surrounding some noise here. I don't know what's causing it. There's like a buzzing. It's what I'll do, I'll try and see if I can find it. It doesn't seem to be there. But if I turn up the volume and I put it on the AM, I think you'll understand what I'm getting. No, it doesn't seem to be that there tonight. No, I'm going to have to change the mode on every band. That's the thing I don't like about these type of transceivers. When you change bands, you have to press the button to get CW. Normally, the old-fashioned rigs had a switch, and once you put one band on CW, they all were. So, but the power supply got us a switch mode when the noise offset works quite well. I'd rather have a linear power supply, But the problem is I'm not able-bodied and they're too heavy and I can't lift them. So they're too heavy, and if I drop them on my foot or something, I've already smashed up one foot. I don't want to smash up another. So that's a little bit about what I've been up to. 450D. I'm going to buy a CW filter. At the moment I'm using a DSP. That key I've got here, that is, believe it or not, it's a 3D Morse key. And that's, and I'm going to get a paddle, but I got this miniature one. I'm hoping to get a camelback one and a paddle. These are made in America. They're made in, can't remember where the guy lives now. And they're 3D printed, but they got proper bearings, roller bearings, proper contacts, not just a screw, and on a base. And I think that was £31. The slightly bigger one, camelback, is 31. The paddle is 40 odd, but unfortunately the bloody base is £26. I don't know why why they charge so much for the base, but whether I buy it to make my own base, I might have a chunk of wood I can screw by the paddle on. I might buy myself a chunk of timber and hack it down to a 4-inch square and make my own base. I might even have something off an old valve radio in the shed or something. Paint it black, saw out a square, put 4 rubber feet on it. I don't fancy paying 30 quid for a metal base with 4 holes in it. But there again, that's extremely expensive for 4 inches of steel. That's nearly as expensive as gold. I know it's sprayed in a sort of crinkle paint. Well, I can spray some of that shit on myself. I got some of that here. But anyway, I thought I'd leave it at that. So you might hear me back on the air as M0 Papa Romeo Foxtrot. I was also known in my early days as 2E0 Golf Lima Uniform. My first license, M6GLH, Golf Lima Hotel, Grotty Llama, living in a hotel in Guatemala. That's what I used to refer to myself, and most of my friends knew me by that and thought it was rather funny. Grotty Llama living in his hotel. But those friends are no longer on the radio. I'm not sure why they bottled out. I've been on longer than just about any of them, because I've gone from an M3, 6, to an M0 in 2 years. And people say, well, why, you could have took your license before that. Unfortunately, with cancer and everything else that's happened in my life, I unfortunately was not well enough to do it. So when I recovered from the cancer, I took the M2E0 and the M6 within 16 weeks. I was determined to get those as well. And I did. I got them first time as well. And so I'm not that bright. So I'm surprised that other people don't move up the ladder and stay on an M6. Because if I can do it, I'm sure anybody else can. Because I'm autistic. I don't know my times tables. I'm not very good at maths anyway. So, and I think in pictures, not in words. So, I mean, if I was able to do it, I just say to anyone that wants to take the 2E0 or the M0, have a go at it. If you can't do it again. If you just stay where you are, you're just going to stay where you are. There's no point in it. What's the point of just staying as you are because you think you might fail? If you don't fail, you don't do anything. You know, if a baby got out of a pushchair and fell over, would you say to that baby you're not allowed to get out of a pushchair again? Because you might fall over and you'll have a 20-year-old in a pushchair. It's ridiculous. Bye-bye. Hang on, I'd always stop.